All right. Just a minute. I'll bring my glasses.
Oh yeah, you'll need your pen and your notebook as well, yeah?
Yeah, they are here.
Right, so I'm going to share the whole screen today. I think that's better. Yeah, share the whole screen. Yeah, that's it. And then we'll share this page. And he's a bit long-winded, so I'm going to fast forward a bit.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I'm just fast forwarding a bit because he's a bit long-winded. But this is an advanced vocabulary test. What I want you to do is to make a mind map, and you're going to call this mind map vocab, and write down as many words as you can. Even if you don't understand them, you can look them up later. The ones that are in the quiz, he gives some lovely meanings, and we'll talk about them, and we can stop him.
All right.
So are we all ready?
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
For joining us, and let's see, I want to talk to you. Oh, okay. Some technical difficulties. So I want to begin before we jump into our quiz. All right. I want to go ahead and just tell you real quickly, okay, why is it important to build your vocabulary? All right. There are 3 reasons why it's important. This is very important stuff. The first one is it just gives you greater comprehension. And when I say greater comprehension, that when you're listening to a TV show or a movie, or you're listening during a lecture, then you're going to know these words and be able to identify the vocabulary so that you can just follow along with what is being said. And that way you don't have to stop and think to yourself, oh, what is that word? I didn't get that. And then the conversation continues, and then suddenly you're lost. That happens to me all the time. So the more you build your vocabulary, the greater comprehension you have, the easier it is to follow along with different conversations or whatever it is you're listening to. So that's why it is so important. Another reason is that you can just more easily communicate and produce the language. If you're having a free-flowing conversation and you're talking about a variety of topics, you could be talking about education, you could be talking about healthcare, government, and no matter what you want to say, which is the third one, you're going to be able to accurately express your thoughts, your opinions, and your ideas, and really use specific words in order to do so. And that's why it's important when you learn new words to practice using them so that you remember, and then you can continue using them on into the future the next time you're having.
So what he's saying is it's going to improve your ideas and your thoughts and opinions. Of course, that will improve your writing and also your speaking. So it's a wonderful way to go up a level, is to know more vocabulary in the language.
So these are 3 very important reasons why you should continue to build your vocabulary. So as I said, if you are just joining us, I'm going to give you guys a vocabulary quiz. And I'm going to ask you, there are 12 different questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you the question, all right, the vocabulary question. I'll give you a little bit of time to try and answer. You can write, all of them are multiple choice too. So you can write the word or you can just write the letter and, you know, what do you think the answer is? And then I'm going to tell you the answer and give you the meaning as well as some example sentences so you can see how the word is used in different contexts, all right? So again, if you're with me now, write the answer in the chat, all right? I want to hear from all of you guys, and even if you're watching this later, I expect you to participate in the lesson and actually, you know, use that comment section, write the answer, and then we will go over it with you, all right? So we see a lot of...
So of course, we're not commenting on his blog page or whatever. We are writing our answers down in our notebooks, okay?
Okay.
People, are you guys ready? I hope you guys are ready to practice, okay? So, hello, Sudeep, Jatinder, Lynn,
I'll
Swat,
fast
Marine.
forward a bit.
Sorry if I missed some name.
Fast forward is a bit long-winded. Okay, I think this is that the first one? Wait a minute. Yeah, I think so.
Or just a very similar meaning. What do you guys think? I want you to write your answer.
Now we want a synonym, and as you know, a synonym, we want a similar word, don't we, for contrived. Yeah. So have a look at the 4 words, the choices here, A, B, C, and D, and see which one you think matches, is the same or similar to contrived. It's a negative thing. That's a clue.
A negative thing.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about C.
No, it's not B.
C.
No, actually, that's positive. If you do something in an effortless way, if the exam was effortless, I found the exam easy. It was no effort. It was effortless, right? So it's not that one. Have another thing.
It should be A then.
No, that's not negative, is it? Excited again is positive. Effortless is positive. B is critical. That is negative. But it's actually D, which is artificial or fake or not real or made up. Now we'll see why. And as I show you, he actually gives very good examples. He really does. So as I show you his examples and he talks, I want you to be writing down as much as you can to help you to remember the meaning of the word and also note any spellings.
All right.
Chat. I'll give you a few more seconds and then I'll go over it with you. So if something is contrived, that means it is what? All right. What do you guys think? All right. Seeing some answers. Don't know. Some questions.
I'm just going to open my window. I won't be a minute.
Let's do it. Okay. So if something is contrived, the answer is D. It's artificial. So contrived is an adjective, and a lot of the times it's used after the verb to be, and they talk about something is contrived. And it just means that it's having a unnatural or false appearance. It's artificial, it's fake. So for example, Wes talked in a contrived British accent. It's used as an adjective, it's a fake British accent. So if I were to say like, hey, hello, mate, chap, how's it going? Whoa, you know, today I'm just sitting in my flat, giving this English lesson here, and you can see that is a very bad British accent.
Yes.
It's horrible, it's fake, it's artificial, it's contrived, okay? The next one, the storyline seems a bit contrived. Often, I think if you're talking about somebody's telling a story, I think that's a common way that it's used. And you say, yeah, the story is contrived. And it could be somebody talking about their experience. And you're saying, oh, this is what happened. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. It sounds a little fake. It sounds a little artificial. It's false. It's contrived. So I think that's one way it's commonly used. And often it's used after the verb to be. Something is contrived. So now you know if something is contrived, it's fake. Junior, good accent. Really? Okay, well, I appreciate that. But yeah, that didn't sound that fake. Oh, Sabrina, thank you. All right. I'll take it, I guess. All right, the next question that I have for you. This one,
let's move that
maybe a little easier for you. All right, so in this one, I'm giving you the meaning, but I've just put that blank there. So blank means completely exhausted, drained of strength and energy. So what do you guys think?
Right, so here we've got to see which word means that we are absolutely exhausted, we have no energy and no strength. And I think this is a French word that entered the English language, because I always have a problem to spell it. I'll tell you what I do in a minute.
Is it A?
No, it's not jubilant. That would mean quite jolly and quite pleased and happy. To be jubilant is to be excited, pleased, and happy. Have another go.
D.
D. You said D, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's fatigued. If you are fatigued, you are absolutely exhausted and drained of strength and energy. I always tell students, our brain likes to remember funny things. So if you have a problem to spell a word like this, you can pronounce it wrongly and say something like fatigued, because then you never forget that you're actually saying it as you see it, not as we pronounce it, which is fatigued. So if you want to remember how to spell it. Okay, let's move on.
Think. Completely exhausted, drained of strength and energy. That is the meaning of one of these words right here. What do you guys think? A, B, C, or D? Write your answer in the chat. And even if you guys don't know this, or even if you don't know, just take a guess. Have fun with it. It's always great. Practice, practice, practice. And if you're watching this later, right, use those comments. Make a list, 1 to 12. Write your answer and then hit comment, so that way I know, okay, you took the quiz. So many of you said yes, a lot of you. Perfect. D, fatigued. That is the answer. It is an adjective. If somebody is fatigued or they feel fatigued, it means that they feel completely exhausted. They are drained of strength and energy. For example, my sentence.
I think he's giving very good examples. Are you getting his examples and writing some down, Abdullah?
Yeah.
That's great, because it's important to do that, and then you will remember and have something to look back on when you're revising.
She was so fatigued, she hurt everywhere. Sometimes if you are fatigued, it means that you are really, really exhausted. You are really tired. And sometimes, yeah, your muscles hurt when you're fatigued. This happened to me recently, all right? Many of you know, if you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, you should check that out. Wes felt fatigued after the marathon. A few weeks ago, I ran a marathon, and afterwards, I was exhausted. I hurt. My body hurt. I felt fatigued. So, as we're doing these words too, again, you guys feel free. Practice in the chat. Write a sentence. Share a sentence with us. It's always great to practice. Next question. Ready? So this is another different type of question. This is just a gap fill where I give you the sentence and I want you to fill in which word appropriately completes the sentence. The family grew.
I'm stopping him a minute because as you know, there is some discrepancy about pronunciation between British and Americans. And in this case, he pronounces a word wrongly. I'm going to pronounce it correctly before he says it. And the word is plethora. Okay, so I'll say it again. Plethora. Okay.
All right.
So that word, he doesn't pronounce it properly at all. He says something very strange. So I just thought I'd point that out. And we're looking for a gap filler. The family grew it means huge or large amount of vegetables in their garden. And we're picking out one of these words, but this word is plethora.
Amount of vegetables in their garden. The family grew a amount of vegetables in their garden. What do you guys think the answer is? As I'm looking through these, I don't think there is not more than one answer. I don't think there should be in any of these. So
no, that's correct. So have a guess.
I'm thinking of A.
Well done, Abdullah. Well done. Yes, it's copious. Well done.
how would you guys complete this sentence? Which of these words would you use to complete the sentence? What do you guys think? I'll give you a hint for this one. The key word, to me, the key word is amount. All right? If we're talking about amount, what do you guys think? I think I see some good answers, all right? A lot of jump A, B, A, B. So again, you could say, if you're talking about a plethora, you're talking about, a variety, a difference. But I said the key word is amount. And if you're talking about amount, you're talking about a number specifically. So then in that case, the answer is copious, A. Copious is an adjective, and it means large in quantity or number, something that is abundant. So I was talking about in that one, a copious amount of vegetables. I said amount, we're talking about a number. And if it's a copious amount, that just means it is a large amount. So for example, right here, she took copious notes during the class lecture. So if somebody was taking copious notes, that means they are taking notes again and again and again and again. They are taking many notes, a large amount. It is a copious. They are taking copious notes. This one down here, we just finished. We traveled to LA when we were back in the US. And yes, Los Angeles has a copious amount of vehicles on the road. There is a lot of traffic in Los Angeles, way too much traffic.
And I just heard him say vehicles, but that's wrong because it's supposed to be a silent H. So it's supposed to be pronounced vehicles.
Traffic, and there are a copious amount of cars on the road. So again, if you're talking about a copious amount, you're talking about a large number. All right. So those are the first few for you. Let's do another one. Again, if you're just joining us, we're just taking a vocabulary quiz. I'm going to ask you the question. You give me the answer, and then I'll tell you the answer. So the next question, it's another synonym one. All right. What is a synonym for hypocrisy?
Okay,
this is a good word.
I'm going to give a clue for this one, Abdullah. So when you look at this word and you think of the meaning, I want you to think about governments in a negative sense. So what do you think? What do governments often do that is negative? Some of these words are very positive and jolly and happy, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it can't be those.
I think it might be A.
You're correct, it's A. And when he explains, if you still don't know, I'm going to go over it again and explain more.
I really enjoy this word. It's something, it's a hypocrisy. What's a synonym for the word hypocrisy? Again, we're talking about a synonym, so it can be something that has the same meaning or just a very, very similar meaning. All right, what do you guys think the answer is? A hypocrisy. And again, don't worry. Take a guess if you don't know. Don't be shy. Don't worry about, I don't want to say anything. Everybody's just write down your answer. And if you don't know, just write a question mark. It's okay. It's okay if you don't know all of these answers. So if we're talking about a hypocrisy, I think many of you got this one, A, deceitfulness. All right. So hypocrisy is a noun, and it's talking about the false appearance of virtuous character or piety.
Yeah, and he actually does use the government as an example. So the hypocrisy of the government is stunning because they will expect everybody to obey them, but they will not necessarily tell the truth. This is the thing.
Okay.
It's deceitfulness because you're saying, it's like somebody who's saying one thing and then they do something else. For example, all right, I think this is true in many, many countries. You could say the hypocrisy of the government is stunning. So, for example, many governments out there would be like, you know, oh, people should be good. We should do good things. We should not steal. You know, we're government officials, and then many politicians, they do that. They steal, they lie, they cheat, and then you could say, well, that's a hypocrisy. You're saying one thing, and then you're saying one thing to be like, oh, we have good character, but then you do the exact opposite. It's a hypocrisy. Again, this is another great example. My boss is known for his hypocrisy. He tells us to arrive on time, but he's always late. So if the boss says, you know, oh, you guys, you need to be on work, you need to be at work on time, you should never be late, but then the boss arrives late, that's a hypocrisy. And if you want to use it as an adjective, you would say hypocritical. Somebody is hypocritical.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, excellent.
Or we could call them a hypocrite.
So let's do another question. This one right here. What do you think? It's another, I give you the meaning, you just have to fill in the blank. Means something added to something else in order to enhance it. What do you think? Something added to something.
So I'll give you an example to give you a clue. For example, I could say I have some delicious strawberries to eat. And if I add cream, I am enhancing the dish, because strawberries are very nice, but strawberries and cream are amazing together. So I've now enhanced the dish. So what do you think it is? A, B, C, or D?
Supplement.
Sorry?
Is it B?
Addendum. No, I see why you think that though, because I taught you to look for within the words, and yes, you see add. So, but no, it's not actually. I want you to think about vitamins, or vitamins as the Americans say. Have you ever looked at?
I think of B.
Yeah, that's right. Vitamin supplements. Yes, yes.
Something else in order to enhance it. You're trying to enhance something. You're trying to make it better. All right. So what would you say? Means something added to something else in order to enhance it. Okay. What do you guys think? Some of you, yes, excellent. All right, we got some good answers in there. The answer is B, supplement. So supplement, that is a noun. And again, it means something added to something else in order to enhance it. For example, I could say, you know, and I do this, well, not to increase my endurance, but he takes vitamin supplements to increase his endurance. You can take vitamin supplements to increase your endurance. You can take it to get more vitamins, get vitamin C. There are many different supplements that people can take to give them, you know, more energy, more vitamins. So again, it's something added to something else. Or in this example right here, I could say the worksheet is a supplement to the course material. So if I'm teaching a class and I teach.
So I'll stop it just to say that the worksheet is a supplement to the course material. It's extra. It's something added. It's an addition. So yes, we could say addition as well as supplement.
Teach the class and I say, well, here, beforehand, take this worksheet. It's going to help you out. It's a supplement. It's added to something else, which is the course, to make it better, to enhance it, is to supplement. The next one, ready? All right. Again, this is just a complete sentence. Okay.
This is a very interesting one. So in the gap, we could say, for example, people who seek peace hate violence. In this case, it's a very strong hate. So I want you to pick one word that you think means a very strong hate. You may not have heard. Sorry?
Is it abhor?
Well done, Abdullah. Indeed, it is abhor. Thank you very much.
Okay, which word best completes this sentence? What do you guys think? People who seek peace, violence. All right, people who seek peace, violence. How would you complete that sentence? Which word makes sense when you want to complete that sentence? You're talking about two opposite things, peace and violence. So people who seek peace, they want peace. What do those people think about violence? What would you say? All right. So some of you, okay. Yes, all right. Yes, this one, most of you, if people who seek peace abhor violence, all right? It is C, abhor. That is the answer because that is a verb and it means to disregard with extreme hatred or disgust. So if you're somebody who likes peace, then you hate violence. You abhor violence. So if you...
So I think it's a very interesting word. And I could say, for example, bring in other words that he's used into it as a sentence. I could say, I abhor the hypocrisy of the deceitful government or something like that. And so I'm bringing some of the words together now. He gives excellent examples, by the way, so do write some of them down.
Abhor something, it's not that you just hate it, you really, really hate it. So, for example, you could say, I abhor this type of insulting behavior. If somebody's being rude or mean or insulting, you'd say, yes, I abhor their behavior. You could also say, if you, for example, if you abhor racism, don't like it, you can make a difference by fighting it, all right? You can fight against it, all right? So if you abhor something, then yes, you really, really, really dislike it. So let me know, how are you guys doing? How many? We just did 6 questions right then. How have you guys been doing? How many out of 6 did you get right? What do you guys think? All right. So while you're telling me how many out of 6 you got, I just want to give you a reminder, let you know if you guys like what we do, then you can check us out on Patreon. If you want to help support free education, free English education, we have some very cool rewards. We will leave a link in the description. So what do you guys think? So I see some 5 out of 6, mistake. 2, Sachin, great job. Gosia, excellent. Ronan, well done. Anasim, 6 out of 6. Excellent, perfect. So again, let's just keep practicing. I have some more questions for you. So this is great. It's great to be able to practice, and then hopefully the more you practice, then the more likely you are to actually remember and retain the words so that you can use them correctly the next time you're having a conversation, or maybe even if you're writing and you're writing an email. So let's continue. The next question.
So do you have a dictionary in your house, Abdullah?
Yeah.
That's great. I remember when I was a girl, my father used to say, I used to go to my father and say, what's this word mean? And he'd say, go and look it up in the dictionary. And I said, oh, I don't want to, it takes too long. But he'd say, no, you must do that. So I would, and I'd find it, and I'd find the meaning as well. And he'd say, now you will never forget it because you took the time and trouble to do it yourself. And it's so true.
Question is this one, acquiesce. What is a synonym for acquiesce?
This is an extremely interesting word. Again, I'm going to refer to governments. I'm going to say many people acquiesce to government policy without thinking for themselves. So if you were to say, for example, to the government, yes, I'll do this if you want me to, or I'll do that, even though I think it's not good for my health, I'll go ahead and do it. That would mean I acquiesce to the government. I don't think for myself. I just put myself in their hands and I say, do what you like with me. Okay. So have a look at the words, and what word do you think is a synonym? So we're looking for the similar or the same kind of meaning for acquiesce.
I'm thinking of two words.
Go ahead.
It might be demand or comply.
It's comply, yes, to go ahead, to go along with what somebody's telling you to do and not thinking for yourself, even though it might be bad for your health, in fact, that is to comply. Yes, it's the verb to comply. Well done, Abdullah.
What do you guys think? All right, write your answer in the chat. And if you're watching this later, write the answer in the comments, because I want to know that you guys are participating in these lessons. This is interactive English. You're supposed to interact with us. All right, so what is a synonym for acquiesce? All right, acquiesce. It makes me think of a movie. And that is actually one of my example sentences, which I will show you in a moment. So acquiesce, all right, see some different answers in here. All right, so if to acquiesce, it is a synonym. It basically means to comply. To comply means, yes, to do what somebody is requesting. So acquiesce is a verb, and it means to accept something without protest, to comply, and just do as you're asked, do as you're told. So that first example sentence, bonus points to whoever can guess the movie. What movie is that from? I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request.
Okay, let's look at his first sentence because it's interesting. It's also difficult to say, really. I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Okay, so if somebody is asking you to do something which you know is illegal, it's against your will, and I know this because I did a politics degree in England, you have the right to refuse, but you don't have to say, I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. You can simply say, I do not consent. Okay, Abdullah?
Okay.
Right.
I told you that it made me think of a movie, and I actually had to look up the quote because I want to make sure I got it right. I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Bonus points if you can tell me the name of that movie. The next one, the next example sentence, the board will acquiesce to any decision the CEO makes. So if the CEO makes a decision, the board will acquiesce. They will not challenge the CEO and say, oh, okay, whatever, do what you want. Another one, this is a good sentence for me, to me. The students acquiesced to the teacher's demands. So when I'm in the classroom, I say, hey, this is what I want you guys to do. And the students acquiesce, they accept it, they don't protest, and they just do whatever homework I might give them. So the students acquiesce to the teacher's demands. So no guesses about what movie that's from. Star Wars? No, not really. No, the movie is Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. They have like 6 of them now, but in the first one that came out, gosh, maybe like 10 years ago, Pirates of the Caribbean.
No,
this is something that they said, I think, a few times in the movie. I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. So again, you will find these words if you're listening to a lecture or watching TV or watching a movie. You will come across some of them, so it is good to know. This next word, I think, is a very common one nowadays. It's becoming more and more common, and that is, well, first I got to give you the question. I don't want to give you the answer, all right? Blank.
Now let's look at this one. So something means to divide into two different opposing groups. So if they're opposing, if the groups are opposing each other politically, for example, you might have one group is the left and one group is the right. So one group does not like the other. Okay. So have a look at the words and see which do you think something means to divide into two groups.
I think the closest one is polarize.
Absolutely correct. Thank you, Abdullah. That's amazing. Yes.
Blank means to divide into two different opposing groups. Okay, that's the meaning. I want you to tell me what word has this meaning, to divide into two different opposing groups. Okay, so when I say groups, okay, I want you to think I'm talking about mostly people. I guess you could talk about animals, but something living. It's mostly, you're talking about people. So it's not like you're talking about groups of objects. You're talking about groups of people, and it means to divide into two different opposing groups. And I said it's so common nowadays because a lot of time it has to do with politics.
Indeed.
Okay, we hear this word a lot when people are talking about politics. And many of you, yes, you got it right. Excellent. The answer is A, polarize. Polarize, it's a verb, and it means to divide into two different opposing groups. So for example, I say that, you know, it's happening a lot in the United States. We're talking about our politics. I think in many other countries, I know that you guys are.
Yeah, this is very true, isn't it? Because Donald Trump has completely polarized the country. So people are fighting with each other. Now we have Biden, and he's going to make it even worse. And in England, in my country, we've got the Brexit decision. So that too is like it's like England has divorced the 25, is it? Yeah, 25 European states, and we're not doing business with them anymore. It's heartbreaking, really, because with a British passport, I could travel around all 25 states with my British passport and be welcomed and work there and live there, and now all that will finish because of this silly Brexit. Yeah, so it's completely polarized England with the European countries.
Are from all over the world, but I think it might be happening in some of your countries as well, in your politics, that people are polarized. They're either on this side or they're on this side. So for example, Donald Trump has completely polarized the company. The country. He has completely polarized the country, where many people are very much anti-Trump or they're very much pro-Trump, and they are in two different opposing groups. You can also talk about it like in this case. I think this is another good example because, again, we're talking about people. The Brexit decision was polarizing. And if something is polarizing, again, it's dividing the people into two different categories. You are either for something or you're against it. So again, if we're talking about politics, this word it's being used more and more and more and more because people are, they're either on one side or they're on the other side, and you'd say they are polarized. All right, next question. Which word best completes the sentence? Okay, what do you?
So we've got an explorer here called Marco Polo, and I remember the name very well, but I can't remember what he was doing, why he was famous for exploring. But Marco Polo was something explorer. He was an something explorer. So we've got to have a vowel that gives you a clue. So you can't, I mean, you know, the little rule where you'd have to say an apple, an elephant, an igloo. You can't put an with a consonant, can you? Okay, so, and also if you look at a with me, often in English words, and I teach students this, I think I've discussed it with you, you can see a word within a word. So what word do you see in the word infantile, for example?
Infant with
Infant,
tile.
yeah. You see the word infant. An infant means a young child or a kid or someone small. So if I was to say to you, grow up, behave in a good way, don't be childish, don't be infantile, it actually means childish, right? So it can't be that word because Marco Polo was not childish, so we can rule out a, it's not a. Also, we have to remember that we can only put a vowel with an, not a consonant. So have a look and tell me, what do you think?
Intrepid.
Yes, it's intrepid. Well done. It's intrepid. Yeah. Do you know what this D means, though? Do you know what obnoxious means?
Obnoxious. No.
I like this word because if someone is being obnoxious, if you tell them don't be obnoxious, you're telling them don't be insulting and don't be rude and, you know, that sort of thing, imposing and rude and insulting. Okay, so yes, it's intrepid, Abdullah. Well done.
You guys think? What do you think? Which word best completes the sentence? Marco Polo was an explorer. All right. Marco Polo was an explorer. This one, you know, there is a hint which you can automatically, process of elimination, you could get rid of one word altogether. The other ones, again, we're talking about an adjective. Technically speaking, you could maybe use any of those adjectives, but there's one in particular because, again, the key word is explorer. And all.
Yeah, he's in a process of elimination, and we immediately eliminate thrifty because it starts with a consonant, and we can't say an with a consonant. The rule is we have to use a with a consonant and an with a vowel, so we know that. So we eliminated that one. We eliminated infantile because it means childish, and so on. So you did very well, Abdullah. I'm proud of you.
Also, Marco Polo. If you know who Marco Polo is and a little bit about his life, then you would know, okay, what kind of explorer he is. What do you guys think? Most of you, yes, excellent. You guys got this. The answer is C, intrepid. Okay. The key word was an, so you know it should start with a vowel sound, all right, which means infantile, intrepid, obnoxious. Again, maybe he was some of those. I really don't know, but he was definitely an intrepid explorer, which is an adjective that means fearless or adventurous. Somebody who is intrepid. I like to think that I am an intrepid person. I love to travel, go places, have new adventures.
So, Abdullah, are you an intrepid spirit?
Yeah.
It's nice. Yes, it means like you're a free spirit. I used to be because I used to like to fly and take a train or a ferry and etc. I love to travel, but I think maybe that will all change now. Perhaps because of government policies.
Yeah.
Have some excitement in life. So I would like to think that I am intrepid. So my example sentence, which is more like an example story, she has an intrepid spirit. Okay, why? Why is it intrepid? Because instead of flying, she took a train, then got on a ferry, and finally rode a bicycle to reach her destination. It was an adventure, all right? So she has an intrepid spirit. So if somebody is intrepid, then they are fearless, adventurous. Are you guys? Are you intrepid? Let me know. The next question, this one I think is a bit more difficult. Demure.
Oh, yes,
Now,
let's look at this. Okay.
read the question.
Right, so what is an antonym for demure? You know what an antonym is, Abdullah?
No.
I'm going to explain. When I teach antonyms and synonyms to kids, I get them to sing little songs. For example, synonyms are similar, so we sing that. And we always sing antonyms are opposites, so they never forget, right? So here you're not looking for a similar word, you're looking for an antonym, which means opposite. So we want the opposite meaning of demure. And the perfect way to describe to you demure is to say that a Muslim woman will dress in a modest, demure way. So a Muslim woman will cover and dress in a nice, modest and demure way. So I want you to look at the words, and you've got to find an opposite word to be in modest and demure. Okay, so look carefully. Remember, we've got a prefix. We have a prefix here.
Is it C?
No, I suppose if you're demure, you might be shy, but we're looking for the opposite to demure. So this means you're not shy.
Oh.
I mean, in fact, you're not modest, you're immodest. You're the opposite of modest.
So unreserved.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Abdullah. Well done.
Carefully. Read it carefully. What is an antonym for demure? What do you think? What is an antonym for demure? Write your answer in the chat or write it in the comments, all right? I'm paying attention. It doesn't matter when you guys are watching this. I want you guys to participate in the lesson and actually try to answer these. So again, we're talking about an antonym. So it's not a synonym, not the same meaning. An antonym, we're talking about the opposite meaning. What is the opposite of demure? What do you guys think? Okay. Oh, I got them all. Some of you guys, I am intrepid, Lolly, excellent, perfect. This one, I think we're okay. We're seeing a bit more of a variety. So we're talking about an antonym, the word that is the opposite. And the answer would be D, unreserved, which means that timid, reticent, shy, those are all synonyms for demure, and that is what the word means. So demure is an adjective, and it means reserved. You're modest, you're shy, you're a little reticent. You're not just looking to speak and say, hey, everybody, look at me. So my example sentence, I apologize. This was from a story. I just got this. It's a quote in a book. The sentence is it's a bit heavy. She spoke with a demure dignity of which the picturesque value was well known to her. All right, the demure dignity, a modest dignity. In this sense, I think they're talking about, it means modest, all right? Somebody who doesn't brag and say how wonderful they are. They're demure dignity, they're being modest. In this case, he's a demure old man who rarely leaves the house. It's more like shy, you're a little more reticent, you're more reserved. You don't want to leave, all right? So if somebody is demure, then, it's a bit, shy, modest, reserved.
And just to pick up on a word here, is it here? No, he's using the word, we saw it back in the other question. The word was reticent. So we can also say reticent. I've heard it said both ways in my country. So reticent, reticent, it doesn't matter really.
You're not outspoken, demure. So let's continue with this question right here, all right? I'm giving you the meaning, all right? It means.
Right, so something means capable of being perceived by touch, a real touch or actual touch. So it's something that you can touch. Also, my clue for this would be, you will see this word in mathematics. It means you can touch it.
B.
Yes, tangible. Well done.
It's capable of being perceived by touch, real or actual. So something blank means capable of being perceived by touch, or it just means something that is real, something that is actual. Which word has that meaning? And these are meanings that I've taken. I didn't make them up. I took them straight from different online dictionaries and kind of just came up with what I thought was, I think, maybe more of an easy to understand meaning, so that everybody, you guys can follow along with this. So what do you think it means? All right, write your answer in the chat or in the comments if you're watching it later. So many of you, I think you guys got this one. Be tangible is the answer. Tangible, it's an adjective, and that means capable of being perceived by touch, something that is real, something that is actual. It is tangible. So some example sentences, I could say, the rain brings tangible benefits to the community. And that's a good word, I think, especially like in business English, if you want to talk about something that has tangible benefits, real benefits, actual benefits. Again, it's not always something that you have to be able to touch, but oftentimes it is. But in this case, you're talking about tangible benefits, something that's real. In this case, some people enjoy tangible gifts, while others would rather spend time, that should be with friends. I forgot my preposition there. While other would rather spend time with friends. So for example, some people, like, it's like, oh, what would you rather do? Would you rather take a vacation or get a car? Some people would be like, well, I'd rather have that car. It's something that's tangible. It's something that I can touch, that I can perceive, that's real. And I would rather have a tangible gift. So again, tangible, it's something that's real, all right? Next one, let's do this one, all right? How would you complete that sentence right there? I rejected the request, but they tried to me into signing the document, all right?
Okay. So again, I'm going to draw upon the example of the government. So we could say, I rejected the request, but they tried to something me into signing the document against my will. Perhaps Western governments I'm referring to. So what word do you think? Actually, we could put the word force here. So I rejected the request, but they tried to force me into signing the document. What word do you think means forced here?
D.
No, it's not bolster. Actually, that's quite a positive word. For example, if I want to bolster the ego and the confidence of my student, I might say, you got 100% and you're 100% on point and you're a really good student. That means I'm bolstering them. I'm making them feel, I'm boosting their ego. I'm making them feel good. Okay, so it's not that one.
I meant D.
Sorry, what letter?
D.
B, this one?
No, D.
D, you mean D, relinquish? No. If you relinquish hold on something, you let it go. Okay. So I'm no longer friends with that person. I relinquished the friendship because we did not get along, for example. So it's not that one. But it's good for us to discuss the word meanings. It's really nice because you get to know more and more vocabulary that way. Try again, Abdullah.
A.
Yes, it's coerce. Can we pronounce it? Coerce.
Coerce.
Coerce, right, that's great.
What would you use to complete that sentence? I rejected the request, but they tried to me into signing the document. So, you know, you just try to put it into context. If you're not sure which word or is, think about the context of the situation. All right, what's happening, and maybe that'll help you decide, well, which word it is. All right, what do you guys think? All right, getting a lot of answers, excellent. Keep answering. That's the best way to practice. So I think a lot of you, yes, the answer is A, coerce. I rejected the request. I said no, but they still tried to coerce me into signing the document. And that is a verb, and it means to persuade an unwilling person or individual to do something by using force or threats. You could also try to get them to do it by tricking somebody too. I think you could be coerced by trickery, but mostly it's you're persuading somebody to do something that doesn't want to do it, and you're persuading them by force or threat. That's the common way to coerce somebody. In this case, he even managed to coerce the children into doing the dishes. So in this case, the word doesn't have like a strong negative meaning. It's almost more trickery, more playful, like, oh, you coerce the children into doing the dishes. You trick them and you got them to do the dishes, even though they didn't want to. In this case, it is a little more, strong with force or threat. It should be, sorry, another typo. The suspects were coerced into turning over the evidence. They were coerced. They were persuaded to do so by force or by threat. I hope it helps to see these words being used in these different sentences to really put it in.
So how are you doing, Abdullah? Are you getting a really good mind map there and lots of examples?
Yeah.
Are you managing to write down any words that you want to look up the meanings for later?
Not a lot.
Might be a good idea, because then, you know, the best way to improve upon your language is to let your vocabulary get bigger and expand and grow. This is what I'm doing in Arabic.
All right.
In context to understand the meaning and to see how they're used. I really hope that's helping you guys right there. So coerce is to persuade an unwilling participant. So these are today's 12 words. These are the words that we used in the quiz. I want you to think.
Here are all the words, Abdullah. Would you like to take a picture or write them down? It's up to you.
I'm going to take a picture.
I think that's quicker, yeah.
And if there's a chance, you can send me the link for the video.
Yes, of course. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do that. Did you take it?
Yes, I took it.
Right.
Right now, how did you do? Let me know. Write it in the chat or write it in the comments if you're watching this later on. How many did you get correct? How well did you do? Did you get half of them correct, 6 out of 12? Did you do really well and get 10 out of 12? Or maybe you got all of them correct. Even if you didn't do well, it's okay, because you are still practicing your English, trying to build your vocabulary and learn new words, because that's really what's going to help you improve your English fluency. So again, in the chat, let me know, how did you guys do? I'd love to hear from you guys. So let's look at somebody feel, 10 out of 12, excellent. 10 out of 12, Pedro, great job, Pedro, great job, Junior. Runak, you're welcome. Rose is 9, Wafi 7, perfect. All right, guys, that's great. And hopefully, what I hope today is that even if you didn't get all of them correct, that maybe you've learned a new word. And even if you just learned one new word, that is one more word than you knew yesterday. And that is an improvement. So I hope you can remember that word, go practice using it. And again, that's the best way to improve your.
Indeed it is the best way to improve your language. How did you find that? Did you enjoy it, Abdullah?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's most interesting. I love words. Right, so now I want to go somewhere else. I want to find.
Miss,
Yes,
I have one question.
sure.
When did the office told you the class is going to end?
I haven't discussed that with them yet, so I have no idea, to be honest. Perhaps you should discuss it with them first, and then they'll let me know, I think.
Because they told me it is 10:30 in United Arab Emirates
Oh, you
time,
mean,
which is
oh, you don't mean the duration of the course. You mean the actual lesson today?
yeah.
Oh, okay. So we went from around 7:20, we go for 2 hours. So I guess we're going to go to about 9:20, yeah?
All right.
Yeah, because we normally do 2 hours, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can we take a break right now?
Sure, you can take a break, Abdullah. I'll sort of find something while you're gone.
Okay.
I also want to pray as well.
All right.
I just want to find that. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to YouTube and take that out. That's better. Yeah. Now the last time I looked at this, and I got the grammar. I want the grammar coming up. Yeah, I think it will come up now. There he is. Yes, that's the one I want, and I want this one. Yeah, we don't start now. I have to go and pray. Stop. That's it. That's better. me see.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, good. So, let me make sure I've got the right thing. Yeah. I think I can put has and had. I'll skip the alpha.
أيوة. Or illness, these are all situations.
Yeah, I think a couple of lessons back, I seem to remember you were asking me about have, has, and had. So I found this and I thought I must play it and let Abdullah see it. So let's go back to the beginning. Have you got your notebook? Can you make a mind map on it?
Yeah.
That would be great if you do that. So then we've done vocab and grammar today. So now I know the sound is okay, so I'm going to make it bigger. I don't know who this teacher is, but I think he's very, very good. I like this teacher a lot. So I'm going to put that up there. Right, so here we go.
الفوطة رقم 1 في مصر بقت أحسن. أولوز الجديد ورا 3 في 1 عكس القماشة، ما بتسربش بفضل المنطقة الزرقاء، أجنحتها ضد الاحتكاك، ما تحسسش بالتسلق، والروايح بتغطيها. جديد أولوز 3 في 1.
Hello.
Here we are.
Welcome. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you all of the tenses in the English language. For each tense, I will show you the form, its different uses, and I'll share with you example sentences to help you fully understand. So if you're ready, let's begin. Before we get into the lesson,
This is
here's
good
a chart
too.
showing all of the tenses. There are 3 times: present, past, future, and 4 aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. The times and the aspects combine to make all of the 12 tenses English. The present time and the simple aspect make the present simple tense. Then we have the present continuous, present perfect, and the present perfect continuous. In the same way, we can make tenses with the past and future times as well.
So I think it would be nice, Abdullah, if you took a picture of this.
All right, I'll take a picture. Just a minute.
Take your time.
All right, I took the picture.
That's great.
We're going to discuss all of these in this lesson. So let's begin with the first tense, the present simple. We make the present simple tense with a subject like I, you, we, they, he, she, or it, and a verb in the present or the V1 form.
Get this up
For
here.
example, I drink coffee
That's better.
every morning. Kathy works as a teacher. Notice that in sentence number 2, we have works with an S. In the present tense, if the subject is I, you, we, or they, we use a verb without S. That's why I drink. If the subject is he, she, or it, we add S to the verb. Kathy is a female name. It's like saying she. So we've said Kathy works. Now the first sentence here talks about a habit or routine, something that I do regularly. The second sentence is a fact. Kathy works as a teacher is a fact about her life. These are the 2 main uses of the present simple tense. Here are a few more examples of habits and routines. Sean goes to the beach on Sundays. Children often play video games after school. And here are some more facts. You sing very well. It's said as a fact about someone's ability. Water boiled.
As we go through this, Abdullah, feel free to ask me to stop, to pause, and you can take pictures or make a few notes if you need to have more time.
All right.
At 100 degrees Celsius. Notice that this last sentence is a fact about the world. So facts can be about people or they can be about things in the world. So that is the present simple tense.
The next tense is the present continuous. We make the present continuous tense with a subject plus am, is, or are, plus a verb in the continuous or ing form. We say I am, he, she, it is, and you, we, they are. For example, I'm drinking coffee right now. This sentence shows the first use of the present continuous to talk about actions happening now at the time of speaking. This is not a general statement. It's not about my coffee drinking habit. It's about what is happening at this moment. I'm drinking coffee. Here are two more examples. We are having breakfast. It is raining outside. These sentences also express what is happening now. This is the first use of the present continuous. The second use is to talk about temporary activities, like Arun is learning to play the guitar. It means Arun is taking guitar lessons maybe twice a week. So he is in the process of learning to play the instrument. A couple more examples. I am watching a really interesting TV series at the moment.
Okay, and don't you, with the present continuous, you got something here. For example, what is it called? Again, if I'm teaching this to little children, I will tell them a little song. I will say to them, we have verb to be, which is all of these things here, plus ing. So verb to be, ing, it sort of rhymes, you know, and that's how we remember that one easily.
My sister is staying with us for a couple of weeks. The third use of the present continuous is to describe changes that are taking place or happening now. English lessons on YouTube are becoming very popular. It means that the popularity of English lessons on YouTube is increasing. Here are some more examples. The price of crude oil is falling rapidly. Scientists say that the earth is getting warmer. So remember that the present continuous tense is used to talk about actions happening now, temporary activities, and changes that are taking place.
Oh, an advert.
Hi there, my name's Chris Americos,
Oh,
and I've been
stop it.
teaching English for the last 11 years. And right now, I'm having a free seminar.
All right, so we've discussed the present simple and the present continuous tenses. Let's now talk about the past simple and past continuous. Past simple first. We make the past simple tense with a subject and a verb in the past or the V2 form. This tense is used to talk about completed actions in the past. For example, I played soccer with my friends last Saturday. Karen gave us a present for our wedding anniversary. The verb in the first sentence is play. We make the past form by adding ed to it. We do this for most verbs, but some verbs have special past forms. You see that in sentence number 2, gave. This is the past tense of the verb give. We say give, gave, given. Given is the past participle for the V3 form.
Would you like to take a picture of the irregular verbs, Abdullah?
Yeah. I took the photo already.
That's great.
These types of verbs are called irregular verbs. There are no rules for making past forms with them, so you have to memorize the correct forms. You see some examples on the screen, but of course there are many more in English. All right, here are some more past simple tense sentences. We received the package this morning. My grandfather built this house in 1968. Antonio lived in Malaysia for 5 years. Okay, let's now move on and talk about the past continuous tense. Here's a sentence first. I was having dinner with my family when the doorbell rang. We're going to put this sentence on a timeline. That side is the past. In the middle.
Yeah. Now he's coming up to explaining how to use have, had, and has. So I want you to pay particular attention to have, had, and has, and make as many notes. Do feel free to stop me if you need to, and you can take a picture or make more notes.
Is now, and over on that side is the future. Our sentence says, I was having dinner with my family. This shows an unfinished, ongoing action in the past. So I was in the middle of having dinner and something happened. The doorbell rang. So I had to put down my spoon and fork, get up from my table, and go and see who it was. So the past continuous tense talks about an unfinished, ongoing action in the past. And normally, we also mention another finished action that interrupted it. We make this tense with a subject plus was or were plus a verb in ing form. We say was for the subjects I, he, she, it, and were for you, we, they. If we mention a finished action that interrupted the continuous action, it is in the past simple form, subject plus past tense verb, like the doorbell rang. Here are a few more sentences. It was raining when Priya left for work, so she had to take an umbrella with her. The power went out while the children were studying. Here we mention the continuous action second. The children were studying, and the single finished action first. The power went out. While we were waiting at the bus stop, we saw a car accident. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. Okay, that's it for the past continuous tense.
Good.
But before we move on to the next tense, let's do a quick comparison of the four tenses we've looked at so far. I drink coffee every morning is in the present simple tense. As you can see on the timeline now, this tense expresses a habit or a routine, something that happens regularly. I am drinking coffee right now is in the present continuous tense. It means that I am doing this action, drinking coffee, at this moment. I drank coffee yesterday expresses a finished action in the past. That coffee is gone. So this sentence is in the past simple tense. And in the last sentence, I was drinking coffee this morning when I got a phone call from my boss. We see two actions. One is an unfinished continuous action. I was drinking coffee. That's a past continuous form. And in the middle of that, something happened. I got a phone call from my boss. That is a past simple tense form. So my boss said, we need you at the office. It's important. Get here right now. And I had to throw out my coffee and rush to work. Anyway, let's move on. We're now going to look at the present perfect tense. We make the present perfect with a subject plus have or has plus a verb in the past participle for the be3 form. We say have if the subject is I, you, we, or they, and has if the subject is he, she, or it. For example, I have taught English to many students. Ashley has visited France 4 times. We have seen 2 movies this week. The present.
So are you familiar with these, or do you want to take a picture or copy them, or don't be afraid to ask?
I will take a picture.
Okay then, Abdullah.
Or I'll take a picture.
Perfect tense has 2 main uses. These sentences show the first use to talk about experiences. Sentence number 1 is about my experience in my teaching career. Of course, I'm still a teacher, so my career is not finished, it's continuing. And we can say, I have taught English to many students in my career, but that's not necessary. It's understood. Similarly, Ashley has visited France 4 times in her life. So the time period here is Ashley's life, which is still continuing. In the third sentence, the time period is this week. Maybe today is Wednesday, so this week is not finished. We might see another 2 movies before the end of the week. So in these sentences, the time period is continuing or ongoing. My career, Ashley's life, this week. But if the time period is finished, we just use the past simple tense. I taught many students when I was a teacher. In this sentence, my career is over. It means I'm not a teacher now. I was for some time. During that time, I taught many students. But then I quit that line of work and became a pop singer. Ashley visited France in 2015. 2015 is in the past. We saw 2 movies last week. Again, last week is gone. So this is the first use of the present perfect to discuss experiences in continuing or ongoing time periods. The second use is to talk about recent actions or events. For example, I have finished my homework. You can imagine a kid saying this to her mom. Well, when did she finish her homework? Maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes ago. But that's not important. The important thing is the completion of the homework. You see this on the timeline now. The girl finished her homework just a few minutes ago, but she's not saying the specific time because it's not necessary. That's why there's a question mark, no mention of the time. Here's another sentence. Arthur has lost his glasses. We don't say when, because the important thing is that now Arthur does not have his glasses. One more example. The police have arrested a young man in connection with the robbery. So there was a robbery in the neighborhood recently, and now the police.
So you're understanding this? So it's like something ongoing, not a specific set time like in the past, but happening, and it could continue perhaps, and it's something that's. So Arthur lost his glasses and he's lost them, so that's a fact. He doesn't have to say when, but he could say, we could say Arthur has lost his glasses today. Okay, so are you getting a good understanding of all of this, Abdullah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Have a young suspect in custody. The exact time of the arrest is not important. In all of these sentences, if you want to mention the specific time, you should use the past simple tense. I finished my homework at 6:30 p.m. Arthur lost his glasses at the party. The party was maybe last weekend, so this is all old news. The police arrested a young man last night in connection with the robbery. So remember that there are 2 main uses of the present perfect tense: to talk about experiences and to talk about recent events. All right.
يلا يا جماعه يلا نصور جاهزه
دي جملة بسيطة جدا، معقولة مش هعرف أقولها يعني؟
خش كلاك عرض وسبيس 9 مرة اكشن.
All right, let's now move on to the next tense, the present perfect continuous. We make the present perfect continuous tense.
And with the present perfect tenses, I don't know if you remember, but we've been doing a lot of live worksheets and grammar things, quizzes about the present tenses, the present perfect tenses, sorry, because I think they confuse students a lot. So I hope that's helpful.
With a subject plus have or has been plus a verb in continuous or ing form. If the subject is I, you, we, or they, we use have. If the subject is he, she, it, we use has. For example, I have been waiting to see the doctor for 2 hours. You can imagine this lady saying that. So it means that she came to the clinic maybe at 5 o'clock, and now it's 7 o'clock. She started waiting at 5. 2 hours have now passed, and she is still waiting. So the present perfect continuous tense talks about an action that started in the past and is still continuing. In this sentence, we can also say, I have been waiting since 5 p.m. The difference between for and since is that for talks about the amount of time, like 2 hours. Since is used to mention the starting point of the action, like 5 p.m. Here's another sentence. He has been playing tennis since he was a child. He started when he was little, maybe when he was 5 years old, and he still plays tennis. Let's say he's 25 now, so he's been playing tennis for 20 years. A few more examples. She has been learning English for 8 months or since last October. We've been living in this town for a very long time, or since 1980. It has been raining all morning or since 4 a.m. Now here, the duration is all morning. In fixed phrases like all morning, all day, all week, etc., we don't use for. But you can say since 4 a.m. if you want to mention the starting point. I want to alert you to a common mistake. If you say, I am waiting to see the doctor for 2 hours, or he is playing tennis since he was a child, those are not correct. You can say, right now, I'm waiting to see the doctor, or he is playing tennis. But when you mention the amount of time, like 2 hours, or when you mention the starting point, like since he was a child, you must use the present perfect continuous tense. This is true with the other sentences here as well, so keep this point in mind. All right, so this is the present perfect continuous tense. Let's now move on to the next tense, the past perfect. Before we talk about this tense, take a look at this past simple tense sentence. When we got to the theater, the movie started. There are two past actions here. Got to the theater, which means we arrived there, and the movie started. You can see in the timeline that we got to the theater first, and then right after that, the movie started playing. But what about this sentence? When we got to the theater, the movie had started. That means the movie started before we got to the theater. So the movie started first, then we arrived. This is the past perfect tense.
Yeah, I hope all this is helping, because I remember you were asking me things like, why did we put had and not have or has? So I hope this is making it clearer.
Yeah, it makes it clearer.
We make it with a
good.
subject plus had plus a verb in past participle or V3 form. When we have two actions in the past, we use the past perfect to clearly show which action happened first. Here's another example. I was sick because I had eaten too much the previous night. Two actions. I was sick and I had eaten too much the previous night. Which happened first? I had eaten too much food, and then the next day I was sick. Next example. The girl looked very familiar. I had seen her somewhere before. First, I had seen her somewhere before, maybe a few years before, so she looked very familiar. Joel rushed to his boss's office, but she had gone home already. She, meaning the boss, had gone home already, so when Joel rushed to see her, she wasn't there. As you can see, the past perfect tense is really easy. Just remember that when we have two past actions, we use the past perfect if we want to clearly indicate which happened first. We do this to avoid confusion in the order of events. All right, let's turn to our next tense now. This is the past perfect continuous. This tense is just like the past perfect simple, except that the first past action is continuous. For example, I felt really tired because I had been driving all day. So you know that I felt tired at some point in the past. And that was because before that, I had been driving that entire day. So the earlier past action was a continuous one. We make this tense with a subject plus had been, plus a verb in the continuous or ing form. Here's another sentence. She had been waiting for 2 hours when the doctor finally arrived. Remember that lady who was waiting for the doctor? Well, the doctor came, so her wait ended. But before that point, she had been waiting for 2 hours. Here, the past perfect continuous form comes first in the sentence, but that's okay. Some more examples. The ground was wet because it had been raining. It had been raining first, and so the ground was wet. When he quit his job at the factory, he had been working there for 12 years. So remember that the past perfect continuous tense is used to talk about the continuous action in the past before another finished action. All right, it's time now for another review. We're going to do a quick comparison of the 4 perfect tenses we've looked at so far. I have washed the dishes is in the present perfect tense. It focuses on the completion of the action and
just stop. Okay, so I think it would be a good idea to note this. So you can take a picture of this if you want to, just for your own reference.
Okay.
Because these perfect tenses are somewhat confusing, but once you get used to them, they're not so bad.
Doesn't mention the exact time, but you understand that I finished washing the dishes maybe just a few minutes ago. I have been washing the dishes for half an hour is in the present perfect continuous tense. It means that I have not finished washing them yet. I started half an hour ago and I'm still doing it. When I left for work, I had washed the dishes. Here, I had washed the dishes is in the past perfect tense. It means that first I finished washing them, and after that I left for work. When the phone rang, I had been washing the dishes for half an hour. So the phone rang at some point in the past.
I note that he's just put in all the timelines now. So it's really lovely that you got the timelines for a reference. So take another picture, Abdullah, because this is the finished product and this has got the timelines to explain. So it's really good for your own reference.
All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
Great.
Half an hour before that, I started washing the dishes and I was still doing that when the phone rang. So I stopped, wiped my hands dry, and I went to answer the phone. All right, now we move on to talking about the future.
Good.
The first tense for us to look at is the future simple. Now this tense is a little tricky because there are a few different future simple forms. The three most important are going to, the present continuous using an ing verb, and will. Let's talk about where to use these. We use going to express plans and intentions. We make this form with a subject plus am, is, or are, and then going to plus a verb in its base form. For example, we are going to buy a car. That means we have a plan to buy a car soon. I am going to start exercising regularly. Rahul is going to take a vacation from work. Now, if it's more than a plan, if we have made the arrangements, then we use the present continuous. This is a tense you know already. And when we use it to talk about the future, it is stronger than going to. For example, I am having lunch with my parents on Saturday. So my parents and I have a plan to do that, but also we have agreed on the time and place. It's fixed. Here's another sentence. We are flying to Mumbai the day after tomorrow. So we've purchased the flight tickets and our trip is confirmed. Josh is giving a presentation to the board of directors on the 10th. On the 10th means on the 10th of this month. This is also a fixed arrangement. Now, you might be asking, so what's the difference really between going to and the present continuous? Well, here's a situation to help you understand. I'm going to see the dentist sometime next week. I'm laughing because of the picture. Okay, so do I have a plan to see the dentist? Yes. But do I know on exactly what day? No, I haven't booked an appointment yet. But if I say, I'm seeing the dentist tomorrow afternoon, that is confirmed. I have an appointment. One more example. We're going to get married this year. Is the date fixed? No, it's a plan. We're getting married on April 21st.
So here again, I think it's good to have a record of this. And you can put it on your computer and you can put it in your folder so that if you want to review, it's good. I think that we're reviewing all the grammar now that we've done because we've been practicing for quite some time, all of these grammar tenses. So it's good to come here and to review them.
Yeah.
You got the picture?
Yes.
Is the date fixed? Yes, this is an arrangement. So that's the difference between going to and the present continuous. But what about will? Well, let's talk about that now. Will is used to express three things. Instant decisions, that is, decisions that we make act suddenly at the time of speaking. Offers and promises. We make this form with a subject plus will plus a verb in its base form. At a restaurant, a waiter asks you, "May I take your order?" And you say, "Yes, I will have the burger and fries combo." This is an instant decision. You didn't plan 2 weeks ago to eat this food at this restaurant on this day. You just made the decision now. Here's another example. Someone says, "The phone's ringing," and you say, "I will get it." You just decided to answer the phone. The next two examples show will used to make offers. These files are really heavy. I will help you with it. So I'm offering to help this person carry the files. That person can say, "Okay, thank you," or
So should we take a picture of this one as well? Because there again, we're always, not just you, but other students are always asking me about will and going to and never quite sure when to use them. So this helps clarify, I think.
All right. I saved it.
That's great. I always think the will is much stronger, and this explains it as I mean to say it. The will is a stronger decision than just going to.
"No thanks, I can do it myself." Similarly, "It's hard to get a cab at this hour. I will give you a ride home." You might say that to a colleague of yours when leaving work late. Your colleague might accept or politely decline your offer. And here is will used to make promises. "Can you lend me $200? I will pay you back next week." "Thank you for your email. We will respond within 2 business days."
So this one is for the will for future simple, for instant decisions, offers and promises. Because as I said, the will is very strong. You wouldn't use going to or maybe going to if you were going to make a promise, but you would say will because it's like a definite thing. Okay, so just take a picture of that, Abdullah.
All right.
And then I think we've clarified a lot of things tonight in the grammar department.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if you can send me the link to that video too.
Yeah, I've got to send you 2 links now. Just
Right,
remember,
so far,
don't worry.
we talked about expressing plans and intentions with going to, fixed arrangements with the present continuous, and the 3 uses of will: instant decisions, offers, and promises. But there's one more future function that you need to know about, and that is making predictions. To make predictions or guesses about the future, we can use both will and going to. These 2 forms are interchangeable for making predictions in many situations, meaning that you can choose whichever one you want. But there is a slight difference. We normally use will to make predictions based on our knowledge or on our own personal experience. I think Spain will win the 2018 World Cup. They've been playing well recently, so based on that knowledge, I think they'll win the cup. You should watch Interstellar. I'm sure you will love it. I know that you like science fiction films, so I'm confident that you will like this one. We use going to when we make predictions based on something in the present, something we can see now. So we're sure. Look at the sky. It's going to rain soon. We can see a lot of black clouds, so it's definitely going to rain in a few minutes. Mom's going to be really happy when she sees my grades. So this kid.
So would you like to just take a picture of this one as well? This is for making predictions. Have you got that, Abdullah? That's great. Yeah. Okay. Are you keeping everything in an Ielts folder on your desktop?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Kid has done really well on his exams. He has his report card in hand, and he knows for sure that his mother is going to be happy when she sees it. All right, so remember this difference in making predictions with will and going to. Okay, we've covered a lot of information about the future simple tense, so let's do a quick recap of it. We use going to talk about plans and intentions. We are going to buy a car. We use the present continuous to talk about fixed arrangements. I'm having lunch with my parents on Saturday. We use will for three main purposes: to express instant decisions, I'll have the burger and fries combo, please; to make offers, I will help you with those files; and to make promises. Can you lend me $200? I will pay you back next week. We use both will and going to make predictions. If a prediction is based on our opinion, knowledge, or experience, we use will. I think Spain will win the 2018 World Cup. If a prediction is based on something we can see right now, then we use going to.
So now if you take a picture of this, I want to just discuss something with you.
All right.
You got that? Okay. So yeah, what I was going to say is so you've got everything in your folder for Ielts, yes?
Yeah.
What I want you to do, particularly with something like this and the examples that you're taking tonight, because remember, you've done a lot of speaking practice with me lately for the Ielts speaking, and your level in speaking is amazing now. It's gone up a level, which is wonderful, and congratulations on that. But remember the technique that we were taught about PPF. When we are asked, particularly for Ielts speaking part 2 and the continuation part 3, we have to impress the examiner. It's good if we impress the examiner with our PPF skills. So the subject that we take might be talk about someone you love and admire, they're famous, for example. You're going to talk about it in the past, then you're going to talk about it in the present, aren't you, the here and now, and then you're going to just touch on a couple of sentences in the future. So this is ideal stuff, not just for reviewing grammar, but for actually getting your speaking up to an even higher level. And I know you said you've been working on the speaking and practicing hard, and it shows, it really does. So now I want you to concentrate on the PPF technique using these grammar review examples, so that you can incorporate all of these tenses, grammar tenses, into your speaking in a natural way. And maybe we'll do some more speaking to see how that's going pretty soon. Okay?
Okay.
Right. You got the picture, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the sky. It's going to rain soon. All right.
Oh, another advert. Oh, I like this one.
All right, let's now move on and talk about the next tense, the future continuous. We make the future continuous tense with a subject plus will be plus a verb in continuous or ing form. For example, at 11 a.m. tomorrow, I will be driving to Portland. So tomorrow at 9 in the morning, I'm going to start driving to Portland. It will take me many hours to get there, but at 11 o'clock, I will be doing this activity, driving. The future continuous tense expresses an action that will be ongoing, that will be in progress at some time in the future. Here's another example. Some of your friends are planning to go and see a movie on Saturday. One of them asks you, hey, do you want to come with us to the movies on Saturday? And you say, I can't. I will be working until late. Until late means until late at night. So you have an afternoon shift on Saturday, and that evening you will still be in your office doing your work, so you can't go to the movies. This is the main use of the future continuous tense. But sometimes we use this tense to talk about a fixed or a routine event in the future. You know, I'm traveling to Portland tomorrow. I will be staying at the Hilton Hotel in Portland. This is a fixed arrangement. It has the same meaning as saying, I am staying or I'm going to stay at the Hilton Hotel in Portland. All of these forms are correct in this case. One more example at the workplace. One colleague says to another, I'm going to the cafeteria. Do you want me to bring you a coffee? The reply, thanks, but don't bother. I will be going there in a little while myself. It's a routine thing that I do at this time every day. It's also correct if you say, I'm going there in a little while myself. So that's the future continuous.
So let's take a picture of this, Abdullah. Again, it's very useful for the speaking test.
All right. And Miss,
Yes.
I think the time is finished.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame. Let me just, before you go, let me give you escape from this video and give you the 2 links for the 2 videos. It might take
Actually,
time. Oh.
you sent me 1 link already.
Did I? Oh, that's good then. So you just need this one, yes?
Yeah.
Right. Cut. That's it. That's that. And go into the chat. Oh, yes, I did. There it is, Abdullah. So if you just save it.
All right. I saved it.
That's wonderful. So have a great night. And when will I see you next? I'm looking at my schedule. We are Monday tomorrow, yes?
Yeah, but there's quite a big chance that I might don't come.
Oh, well, I'm ever so pleased you told me before, because it's nice to know. That's great. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate that. So maybe you won't come. Will you please tell the office?
Yes, I will tell them.
That's wonderful. And I'll tell them too. Thank you then.
All right.
Okay, Abdullah. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.